from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. The cyber people are on the air. For digital safety, we're showing you where. Cybersecurity starts with cyber sense is key. Join the conversation, come learn with me. The TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. The cyber people are on the air. For digital safety, we're showing you where. Cybersecurity starts with cyber sense is key. Join the conversation, come learn with me. The TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. The cyber people are on the air. For digital safety, we're showing you where. Cybersecurity starts with cyber sense is key. Join the conversation, come learn with me. The TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. Show. Let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. The cyber people are on the air for digital safety. We're showing you where. Cybersecurity starts with cyber sense is key. Join the conversation, come learn with me. The TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. The cyber people are on the air for digital safety. We're showing you where. Cybersecurity starts with cyber sense is key. Join the conversation, come learn with me. The TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. The cyber people are on the air for digital safety. We're showing you where. Cybersecurity starts with cyber sense is key. Join the conversation, come learn with me. The TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. cyber people are on the air. For digital safety, we're showing you where. Cybersecurity starts with cyber sense is key. Join the conversation, come learn with me. The TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. The cyber people are on the air. For digital safety, we're showing you where. Cybersecurity starts with cyber sense is key. Join the conversation, come learn with me. The TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. The cyber people are on the air. For digital safety, we're showing you where. Cybersecurity starts with cyber sense is key. Join the conversation, come learn with me. The TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. 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 The cyber people are on the air for digital safety. We're showing you where cybersecurity starts with cyber sense is key. Join the conversation, come learn with me. The TCP Radio Show, let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. This is the TCP Radio Show. Radio Show. Let's go. Knowledge and answers, watch them grow. Hear what you need from those who know. This is the TCP Radio Show.
Hello and welcome to another unscripted, unplanned, raw episode of the TCP Radio Show. If it's the first time you're joining us, my name is Clifford, and our guest today is Rico.
Right.
I've no Hi,
everyone.
Rico. Welcome.
Hello, TCP family.
Like I said, this is very unscripted. It's that we don't plan these. They're as raw as they can be. And they get very raw sometimes, but we'll try to at least I'll give you the opportunity to take something away with you. No, Rico, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, and then I'll put you on the spot.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rico Moore. I would have previously worked with Clifford for a bit. I would say that my role or experience is more or less in system support, security analyst, as a security analyst, and that is in terms of supporting users, software as a service environments, cloud-based environments, technical support, that sort of way.
Okay, so yeah, sounds good. So, well, what about cybersecurity do you like? And then we'll just jump into some other stuff.
What about cybersecurity that I like?
Yeah.
Is or how you all right? Is it? What do you mean? What do I like about cybersecurity?
All right. I could narrow the scope a little bit. What about? Let's see. Do you like breaking things, fixing things, like to be in between? So, for example, pen testing, red team, blue team. You like researching. You like the documentation part of it, GRC, risk compliance, those type, or you like the cybersecurity side, where you get a chance to patch.
For me, I would say that I kind of took a liking towards controls. I would say, trying to control what is happening, how it happens, where it happens. Basically, like, are things doing the functions that they're supposed to be doing? That was part of it.
Nice. All right, so let's get into some actually. Well, first of all, this setup is janky because we're not in any like professional studio, so you're gonna hear background noises. You're gonna hear audio distortion. I'm just kind of giving a disclaimer because the idea this is we're trying to get as authentic as possible, and I think that is what you're gonna get from this type of this radio show. But also, we want to be able to provide.
Are you getting background noises from me, or
the occasional typing? That's fine.
No, I mean right now because I wasn't typing anything. So
no, you're fine. No, I mean I'm. What about me? Are you hearing anything in my background? You're good for now.
Something. I thought you were moving around something.
I am. Good. Yes, I am. Yeah, I am moving stuff around. But hey, so the last time we did an episode on the TCP Radio Show, we wanted to talk about some of the threats and some of the breaches and stuff from 2025, like the top 5 cybersecurity incidents of 2025, and we didn't get a chance to do it because we had invited a few of our friends to have their own little mini 2025 review and share what their plans are for 2026. So I'm gonna give you the courtesy of doing the same thing. You get opportunity to tell us how your 2025 was and what you're planning for 2026.
Well, um, 2025 in review. It was good. I would say. I mean, there's always some things that you would like to change, and always some things that you would like to do better. But for me, in terms of learning, seeing where was, it was good. Um, I probably would have wanted to do some more, and that would come in the form of learning a bit more. Um, if I could do 2025 over again, I would try to maximize the time that I had scheduled out in terms of learning a lot more and putting a lot more focus into it, because at the end of 2025 it showed me that it was a lot that I did not I did not utilize my time properly in terms of that, and I could have done a bit more. Um, 2026, what does that look like for me? Hmm. Well, I moving on from 2025, I did see 2026 in terms of, all right. So learning was one of the things that I tried to put on the back burner as much as possible because I was trying to focus on my work. But 2026, I decided to try to maximize both of them as much as possible. So I have been trying to put in that time in terms of learning, learning new things, and still being able to work, putting my focus on work as well.
Okay. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Continue learning. We've learned, well, we know in the industry that continuous learning is a good way. Nothing stays fixed for too long. Only a couple of years ago, um, you know, we had the outburst or the boom of AI, and now AI is in almost every product that you can think about.
Yeah,
Has some form of AI.
I
If you're
think
not content,
2025 was a real catalyst in terms of that stepping out into its own as well. Because when you look around, like there's so much that you can do with it. When you look at a lot of companies, organizations, they're moving towards AI models and different things like that. And it's basically becoming like a prerequisite in terms of what you can do and if you're learning, if you're working with it. So
yeah. All right. All right. So we're gonna move into a little game now because these things, these radio shows, we usually plan them for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and 2 hours later we're still talking because of the type of forum it is. I'm not gonna do that with you today. This is like a trial of a little
nah,
lunchtime thing.
man, today is Friday, man.
Yes, exactly. It's Friday. We're trying to get this to do as frequently, although unscheduled. So I guess the best way to know if one of these is happening is to follow us on our social platform, or even simply, turn on notifications or something on this particular channel. Um, we're gonna play a little game now. It's a real life game. We're gonna look at the top five cyber incidents of 2025. I'm gonna read it, the script, what the information is for
So
each
that's
one.
your top five or my top five?
This is uh this is Google's top five. Let's say that. So um I'm gonna give the information and you're gonna give your opinion and your thoughts on what happened. Well, not what happened, but like what could have done, anything related you better share. So We'll try it and see if it works, and if it works, we'll continue. If not, we'll just change the format. But one of the major, or well, I don't know if this is ranging from worse to not so worse or how it is, but number one on my top five list was a 16 billion credential. They're calling it a mega leak. It happened sometime in mid 2025. Researchers found a massive credential buffet, they're calling it, hosted openly online. It wasn't one single hack, but a collection of over 30 data sets containing 16 billion emails and passwords from sites like, here it is, Google, Apple, and Facebook. Right? We have a
Mhm.
shock factor here, because 16 billion is double the world's population. So it means almost everyone with an internet account, everyone with an internet account was likely in that list of multiple times. Why it matters for, so let's figure out, let's try to realize why this number is so, what this can mean, the implication. Yes, 16 billion. That's twice the world's population as it is now. So if let's say if everyone had an account, it means two accounts from them were compromised. And we the professionals, we don't have no two accounts. Sometimes I manage somewhere upward to about 10 accounts, either personally and for um other businesses, like 10. When I said business, I don't mean money making businesses, but other organizations, groups, and different stuff that I'm projects and stuff I'm working on. Each is
Mhm.
segmented with its own email accounts and different platform access. So I I have almost 10 or so email addresses that I constantly check for emails and use to access different platforms and stuff. So you never know. So you could imagine if some of these accounts, persons use the same password across multiple platforms or multiple email accounts. So some type of compromise can happen there, and that number could increase. So when you open, say, your web browser, and you um come across like an incident where 16 billion and passwords are leaked from, and the thing is, it's not just like it's like popular sites, Google and
But the
Apple
thing
and
is that they
Facebook.
listed that they only give the, I would say, is the um, leading companies within the market, such as like Apple, Facebook, and Google. But
Mhm.
then it says and others, unless it's later mentioned somewhere in here these other um, companies
Company.
that were also leaked as well.
Yeah, but I was think, I, when it comes to these three particular brands or these three entities, these three organizations, I am sure um everyone that has access to the internet or everyone who utilizes the internet have an account with one of these three entities, if not all. For example, I have
Right.
Google accounts, I have Apple account, I have Facebook account. What about you? So you may not have an Apple, but you have a Google, or you may not have a Google, but you have an Apple, or you maybe don't have if you have a Facebook, maybe not even Facebook in itself, maybe a Meta account, because you could think about Facebook and Instagram, WhatsApp, all those are all under the same umbrella.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
For me, I have Apple, Google, Facebook, as you said, like Instagram. You still have Outlook, Yahoo. Like there's so many of them that I have personally. What I tend to not do though is like if I'm using a specific email in terms of like for something that I start like one thing that I started doing last year is I would have a email that I use in terms of signing up for learning or anything like that. Like any email that is accredited with my credit cards or my bank information and stuff like that. I don't personally go and use those on any. I don't attach them to any and every website. I would try to use other emails depending on what it is I'm doing.
Yeah. Something else to point out here as well. If, for example, I use a password manager, so I'm able to
Mhm.
generate unique passwords across different accounts. But you can imagine someone who does not have access, or, I shouldn't say does not have access, but who doesn't have a password manager, who doesn't use a password manager, and they have multiple accounts across, number of sites. There's
Right.
there's a strong possibility of password reuse, I would say, and that can be a big challenge right now, because the thing is, you don't know if your credentials are part of the 16 billion,
Right.
and if the password that you're using to get into Facebook or Google is the same password you use to get into your banking account, I can bet you that those passwords and those email addresses were tested against banking institutions to see if,
Information. Yeah.
yeah, Bitcoin and different sensitive websites, whether it's maybe governmental websites, maybe corporate websites, because it's a known fact that persons who you may use a particular password for personal use may also use that password at work. So things like that is
For
what
me, for me, what I learned, I probably learned from, well, I want to say from you, but in terms of working with freelancers, what I started doing was using passphrases.
mm,
So I kind of find that using a passphrase for different, depending though, because not all websites allow you to list a whole 32 character password, right? So, but passphrases for me has come in pretty handy, and like you would know that this particular website that I'm using, I'm not trying to mention any names, that are bank account. Well, let's see.
yeah, because you never know, your some of your credentials may be part of that 16 billion.
Right. So, so I would use I would know that a specific passphrase is for that account. You know what I mean? So, like when I go into login, I would know, well, this particular passphrase or this particular sound. You know what I mean? For that, and I don't try to. If it's something that is well known, like a movie quote or something like that, I won't try to like write it back identical to the movie quote. That would just try to, you know, change a few things in it,
Okay. Right.
or
So,
make it, or
mhm,
make it fit um my make it fit me basically. If it was
okay.
a for that. But
So,
there's nothing wrong with a password manager is pretty good though. Um,
okay. So, as a
as
as a
long
cybersecurity professional, what would
as
be
long
your
as you,
recommendation?
but you know another thing that I found last year as well. Um, so I've been using multi-factor authentication,
Hmm.
and I decided to set up MFA with this one single device across all my accounts.
Yeah.
Guess what happened when that device was not functioning?
I know exactly where you're going with this, and this has happened to this is something that I foresaw,
Mhm.
and most of my major accounts, especially my password manager account, I make sure that um I use multiple devices for MFA in case the screen got broken or it decided
Yes,
to
but
start
you have
working.
you have to use board out. Like if you're going to create a MFA, like make sure that you have at least another two devices there that you could create, that you could add that MFA account to that, because I tell you, like it was not pretty, man.
Yeah, I could imagine it when it came across um it came across my mind after like a little while, but I was like one day I was like studying, weird, what happened if I lost my cell phone or it got stolen, or you realize that this MFA thing is a good thing, but then I'll be essentially locking myself out. No, this can't happen. So I went, and most of my um like credentials, most of my
Mhm.
MFA for most of my accounts, especially
Yeah,
my password manager and the banking accounts, are across multiple devices. And
yeah,
two, I one wasn't the fear of losing the device, but sometimes I'm not always in the same location where that one device is, and I might need to do something. I have
hmm,
the other device, so I can, and I try not to keep both devices in the same place as well.
right.
As
Because
other
you
thing.
you end up then losing both of them, right?
Exactly. I the good thing is that you can back up the keys on like a
Mhm.
USB and have it stored somewhere. Personally I use a Fido. I think it's a Fido, however you want to call it, but one of those authentication key thing. So um that's a part of the trio. It's something you know, something you have, something you are. So I have that Fido key. Fido, I think that is how you pronounce it. I have that, um, as well as the MFA, and then I still have a ton of other different types of ways to protecting those accounts, because you just never know. And then you'll be
Yeah.
on the other side of the fence trying to you lock yourself out. You're gonna find a window that open that you could squeeze in to get back in the house.
Yeah, pretty
Uh,
much. Pretty
Same
much.
type of scenario there. And we can't call no names, but we have witnessed an experience, or we're part of an experience
Yeah.
where it's pretty much someone locked themselves out, or we were locked out of the
Yeah, we were locked
domain,
up. We
and it
should
was
we
real
should say that
stress.
we were locked up.
Yes, even Microsoft wasn't able to help us for weeks on. And that's
Yeah.
the same thing and that goes into a different topic maybe for another time. But
Yeah.
we're talking about utilizing these features, utilizing these security measures, but also putting contingency plans in place. So yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good
Do you
one.
think that's something that persons should talk about as well? Like, yeah, a lot of companies moving in there asking you to provide to basically have a two-factor authentication or MFE, something on your accounts. As you say, something you are, something is, something like that. And they're asking you to do that, but you have to be cautious as well because when you do that, you have to be like, all right, so what if something happens and I can't get access to this? What am I gonna do? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, what if it's a situation where mm, I was gonna say something else. No.
Yeah, these things you gotta be very mindful.
Yeah,
Uh,
you gotta be very careful. Like it's good though to have
yeah,
it's good to have these things because it offers you the security, but you should still keep in mind that it's still not a fail safe. You should still have some caution around it as well.
yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. All right, we can do one more of this game, and then we can switch it up because I want to find out. So I'll give you like I'll tell you what is it we can do after we examine the other cyber incident,
Mhm.
because so that you could think on it. I know you were supposed to be a part of the 2025 virtual cybersecurity summit that the cyber people hosted us, and for on unforeseen circumstances you weren't able to
Yeah,
like
man.
present.
Like, that
So I
was
wanted to get your insight on the preparation aspect of preparing for what goes into preparing for a summit. So the next um that's something to think on. The next topic we're going to talk about is, well, we got a few options to choose from because we're not going to go through all five at this time.
Mhm.
It is the Jaguar Land Rover situation. We could go through that one. Or there was one with Salesforce Drift supply chain attack. So the one with Land Rover is what type of attack? What happened? That was ransomware, and the other one was supply chain compromise. So
And
you
that
get
was
to pick.
last year.
Yeah.
I felt like I read something about before
So
last year.
which one we want? We want Salesforce or Jaguar Land Rover? Which one you want we discuss?
Let's look at Salesforce because a lot of companies use this for communication between business and suppliers.
Okay. All right. So cool. So let me read what happened. It says here attackers tracked as UNC 6395, I guess that's the name, didn't hack Salesforce directly. Instead, they compromised Drift, an AI chatbot tool used by Salesloft, and stole OAuth tokens. The impact: these tokens acted like a master key, giving the hackers access to the Salesforce data of over 700 global organizations without needing a password. Um, this is like the SolarWinds moment we had for cloud apps,
Mhm.
and it speaks to third party integrations and supply chain and all these different types, and of course AI and being able to manipulate AI and stuff like that. So let's talk about it a little bit and see. The thing is, I'm gonna give a little tidbits. Well, not tidbit, but I'm gonna go first. Give you opportunity to ponder, unless you want to go first. Um,
Now, let me hear your take on it because this sounds like something that you've been pondering about for a while.
the drift. I'm not sure. Well, it says drift is AI. I've never had it in encounter with drift, not directly anyhow. Um, but I do love a good AI chatbot tool. There is Chat GPT, which some can say is number one in the world right now, and then followed closely by, I would say, Bard, but I would probably put it the other way around. And then there's also Perplexity and Grok, and well, don't talk about Grok. Grok's been a naughty boy of recent, but I'll be honest, I use AI and I use chatbots in my day, in my job, in my life daily. I find that it works good for certain things. Now, I don't have any API keys attached to any of them, so that also have access to any of my important um like resources, so I don't have to worry there.
It-
I try
Now you
not to give it.
mentioned API
Mhm.
keys. I saw this post a couple weeks back about API keys being stored on GitHub and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a
And
no-no. Well,
immediately I went and checked my GitHub and I run it, and I was like, I at least I don't have any, but to hear that persons were like uploading, and their API keys were in there, I was like, wow.
another thing too to note, we talk about API keys and stuff, is put in hard coding passwords into like databases and into code, um, as well, because you would find that there is websites that have connection to database, and then the password to connect to that database is part of the whatever code for the website or the service or the platform, and you can simply go and do an inspect and view the code, and you can see either the password in plain text or a hash, and then you can see
Wow.
username and stuff like that. um I guess that was more prevalent before API keys. If the
Mhm.
API using API using API makes it a lot better, but then again, it says here, based on this story, the API was used as a master key, um, to unlock a lot of features, unlock a lot of access, um, to Salesforce and its data. It's 700 organizations globally. I mean, when you talk about Salesforce, most major organizations, I mean, small entities use it as well,
Yeah,
but
a lot of them. A lot of companies use that, man.
A lot of
In terms,
major companies use it, especially companies multiple locations, across multiple countries. It just makes it um
and as
it's
you
just one of
said,
those
it's like
things. Yeah,
the application is integrated directly into their system, so they wouldn't necessarily need to have any passwords or anything like that. They would just have access to the information.
correct. I could imagine you could a transaction could pair that API, use that API, the information from for that API key in their um systems to like get things like persistent access, or you know throw that in their own um chat box or their own tool, and they're able then to build that in, and that's direct access.
Yeah,
And again, I'm gonna go down narrow, because when I see these numbers like 16 billion and 700, we're talking about 700 organizations globally. You could imagine that these organizations in themselves has probably billions of customer data.
yeah,
Whether you make a one-time purchase, or you are subscription based, or your credit card information is stored on
they have the
file
credit
or something
information
like that.
stored, have the banking information, they have the addresses, different things like that.
Exactly. So I can see you never know, because sometimes we go interact with a organization, we give our information, but we don't know what platform that organization is using to do management and to do bills and finances and stuff. And
Yeah,
they can be one of these 700 um organization whose information was you know exposed.
it's exposed at the time.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So your take, and then we'll hear all about your experience planning for your first summit.
For me, as you said, it was pretty surprising.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
There's no picture. I was just going over exactly what it was. So yeah, so it says I had breaches across places like Google, Workday, Alliance Life, Gap, Chanel, and these are like clothing stores and different things like that. So
Hmm.
exposing, and these are stores that sell sell clothing. So of course, is coming across credit card information, um, personal information in terms of customers and stuff like that. And you got other places like Coca-Cola and different things like that will have employee information all across those records. So um, yeah, and
Yeah. So these things sometimes you don't. People think that it don't affect them because it's not necessarily in the same geographic location, or maybe it's not a company that they feel they haven't interacted with that directly. But
mhm,
again, these services are embedded all over, and you you never know. You may not interact with it directly, but wherever you go and do business, maybe they are, or maybe one of their partners or their suppliers. So you never know. So it all comes, and this is something that.
because I was here even looking over it again too, and I saw like you seeing things like aviation sector, as I mentioned Coca-Cola earlier, um, insurance companies, um, you got CRM tools. So of course, you guarantee that person's information is going to be exposed out there, and it might not affect you directly, but if it is that you might be doing business with those persons, with those companies, I mean, you would be affected in some manner or the other.
Yeah, cool. All right, we're gonna go for about another 7 to 10 minutes, and then we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna try to wrap up by 2:30 our time. Just to give an estimate, just to give the audience an estimate how long more we're gonna go for. We're gonna
Right.
we can segue a little bit into your preparation and your experience. You know, preparing for some because you're preparing for you're preparing for like one or two presentations, while on the other hand, I was like preparing the whole thing. So we get two takes this afternoon. We get your take,
Yeah.
and then we get my take. So
All right. For me, what I wanted to do was I just needed to be able to, well, what is it? It was just a situation of saying yes, of course, to the opportunity. And from there, it was just in terms of, all right, what is it I want to get across? What is my message to the audience going to be? What is it I want to, and that's after hearing the topic. It's like, what is it that I want persons to take away from what it is that I'm going to be sharing? And even if it's just one item, like what would that take be? Like, are they going to understand it from my point of view? And like those are the things that I was let me see. Those are the things that I was trying to get around before making a decision in terms of, all right, so this is the process that you want to do. This is the direction that you want to go in. And this is the outcome that I want to have with that. So the topics that we had were what? Fishing and remind me, what was the other
yeah,
topic again?
so your workshop, the two workshop was
It
related
was two
to
workshops, yeah, but one was fishing and then one was something else.
password hygiene. So
Password
let me just
hygiene.
pull up. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it says here, so sophisticated. Yeah, phishing, like identifying um phishing attempts and how to, and an advanced workshop, like teaching persons how to what to look for and to check to see if they're being phished or social engineering. And the other
Mhm.
one was about practical steps that they can do building their personal cyber shield, like things and steps that they can do to protect themselves. So
Yeah,
and then
so
you
one of
would
the
have had to
things that we
draw, yeah.
mentioned earlier, right? And one of the things that we mentioned earlier was the MFA, right? But
Yes.
you still have other things out there, as you said earlier, password manager as well, right? Um, if it is that you can have your phone set up to, you see, well, I know for Apple for sure, like, once you're logging in, they will just ask you to confirm with a code to your phone, if that's set up like that, or to your device, whichever device that is. And that's another beautiful thing. Like, it's interesting, right? That you could set up um your device, and especially with your Apple, like you will set up your Apple account, and as soon as you log into any Apple device, it will ask you to confirm basically. But when you have other devices, like you will have to go and manually input that. Like, for instance, if you wanted to get into your password manager again from another device, like if you have two of the same devices that are, like you said, Android, and you want to get into your password manager on the other device, like if you register your password manager over there, it's not going to necessarily have the same information that you have on the previous device.
Yeah.
And that's so weird. Like, you just gotta go and register both of them. But with Apple now, like, you just able to, once you're signing in, it would just confirm whichever device you have access to, and you go to that device once it's logged in. Yeah, so you want to have things like password manager. You want to be you want to not be reusing your password for 2 and 3 accounts, and persons just have multiple accounts. So imagine if you have your password as Clifford's 2025 and you have that for your First Caribbean, you have that um for your Royal Bank, you have that for your Scotia Bank, and for your credit union. Now, the first thing a attacker is going to do is, once they find that password, that your credentials have been leaked from some area, the first thing they're going to do is try to find what is associated with you. So imagine if they go and they look up First Caribbean, they input your username, input your password, and it's going through. Then they go to another account, same thing again. So they would just be able to do that multiple times across all your accounts at the same time, just because, and that's why you just using one password to access these multiple agencies.
Okay. So part of your strategy for planning for this workshop was to educate persons to not be a part of this, get in the habit of using utilizing one password across multiple platforms,
Yeah,
investigate the use of password managers, but also be smart about it. And
yeah,
the MFA and some of the other types of stuff that you can use for building that personal shield.
yeah.
Um, uh, in terms of the sophisticated fish, what are some of the components that you were thinking about to include when you were building that workshop?
Hmm.
And what type of fishing attempts you
Honestly, a
yourself
lot of
thought would
people
have
don't
been?
think that they
Mhm.
would be important enough to be fished, but
Yeah.
you never know what it is that person is looking for. So yes, you may be working at a company and you may not be the highest on the totem pole in terms of what goes on in the company. But what can happen is, if you're a fish, then that person would then have access to perhaps your work email, and then they would have access to um, perhaps sending an email from you to your work colleagues, another phishing email, and then that would impact the company overall. So a lot of people tend to think that phishing is not going to come to them. They would not be a prime suspect. They would not be a prime target, but that would make you the perfect target basically, because you're not expecting it. So when you go and click on an email, a random email that you say, well, oh, you know what, I like donuts, and I see a email with donuts. Sorry, like a gem. I like the gem, and I see an email, 50% off your gym membership. Like you didn't even take the time or take a look to see what gym it was. Um, you were just excited about the prospect of it, and you go ahead and you click on it, and then it asks you to perhaps provide some details, and you provide the details, and you just go ahead, not thinking anything of it, and then you're compromised. So yeah. So that's one of the points that I wanted to make to persons, that any person can be fished. You don't have to be a high level executive. You don't have to be finance officer. You could just be a regular person going about your day to day, and the person just wants access to the company, and you might be that person.
That
So
provides the
a
access.
chain is only as strong as its weakest link, and you might be that weak link on that specific day.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Uh, um, good stuff. I'm sure we can work something out so that those presentations don't go to waste. Um, we have a few projects coming up this type of people that will involve maybe some lunchtime lunch and learn, or some monthly Q&As, some workshops and some clinics, different stuff. So there's a lot to look forward for to in 2026 from the cyber people. I uh a lot is happening, and I myself is going to be deeply involved in most of these things. So that's kind of my 2026
Mhm.
plans. So we have a lot of opportunity. I want to meet and collaborate more with more professionals. Usually, and this has been my mantra from the time I've gotten into cybersecurity, is that before I got into cybersecurity, I was on the ground and I know what it's like at the end user level. So I know the troubles, I know the aches, and I know the pains, I know the mindset, because I've provided IT support services for over a decade, but never with a security mindset, not until I really and truly got into cybersecurity. And
Right.
I know that we have a lot of work to do at the user level, at the community level, individually, for rather than in organizations do it for compliance, organizations do it for to look good on paper and whatever the case may be. And usually what they do is you forget it by the time you go home. You remember it, some things you remember for a week, some, very few things you remember for 2 weeks, but after a month, it's done. It's forgotten until the next year or whenever again. We at this type of people are trying to provide um training or awareness, I should say awareness, in a way that it is practical, it's used every day, and it's something that when we teach, it's actually um it helps, it improves the person's digital security and their posture. So most of what we are aiming to do in 2026 is being able to meet persons where they are and meet at the lower end of the spectrum, and at the
Mhm.
individual level provide bring the services, and that was once um they weren't able to reach at one point in time, to let them know that they're not reachable, and we educate, because these are some of the same people who handle our sensitive information in their jobs, and if they don't know, then could mishandle that information, and but by through third party, we can be or data can be exposed. So these are good stuff. We've been going for a while. I'm not gonna drag this out any longer. Just as quick as we started, we're gonna stop. Um, Unexpected, raw, unfiltered. We in soup in and we soup out. So I'm gonna give you an opportunity now to any last final thought before we wrap this thing up.
Um, not per se, but I would just say there's what you have when you look at your security. There's what you have on paper in terms of what you want to do and what you want to have, and then there's reality in terms of you not being able to do any of that. So you just want to look for the smallest win, like where you could get an easy win. What is it that you can do that won't take so much time, and you just go ahead and get that out of the way and get that done. So that's it.
Yeah, well put. All right, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for coming on, Rico. We look to having you again, from time to time as we sit and we, discuss cyber.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. And until our next episode at whatever time, whatever place, whatever how, you'll know at least half an hour ahead of time. But if
Yeah, basically a half hour.
yeah, you got a half hour notice to but you could always catch the replay, um, right here on YouTube. And again, if you turn on the notification, you would get direct notification or follow us on on any of our social media platform. We usually send out a post on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on Instagram. We're working again a subscription system setup so that we could probably email you out, but you might see the email too late. So, but you always get social media notification, and there's lots of stuff we've been pushing out. We have the presentations from the summit on our Spotify. This Cyber Scene podcast. We're pushing them out week after week. We're trying to get as much of it out so that we can start with some new stuff for 2026. Yeah, we're gonna push out some information soon on some training opportunities. Um, if that most of our training opportunities are not only for professionals but for the average user who wants to be able to improve their cybersecurity posture. And cybersecurity is everyone's business, not just some, but everyone. So thank you again, and do enjoy until our next episode. It says stay safe and be mindful of what you click.
Hey, the cyber people are on the air. For digital safety, we're showing you where. Cybersecurity starts with cyber sense, it's key. Join the conversation, come learn with me. The TCP Radio Show.